how it's supposed to feel.
Hey guys, and welcome to another anti-malware test. So today we're gonna do Sophos and Webroot, both business edition. So we've got Sophos on the left. Just gives you like a quick status overview. A couple of events, we'll look at that after the malware test. Detections here as well. We can do a scan, give us detections. Under about, we can do an update, and that's about it. On Webroot, it looks exactly the same as the home version. So we've got our little options here on the right. So under advanced options, these are basically the settings. So we'll look at the portal settings. So cannot be shut down manually, no scans, scan settings, shields, firewall, access control. I can't find access control within the management console. I'm not sure if I'm missing it. So if there's any Webroot knowledgeable guys out there that knows Webroot really well, maybe hit me up in the comments and let me know where we can find this. Even if I tried to set it manually, it obviously says it's managed by a web console. Heuristics, import, etc. This heuristics is supposed to be set to maximum, but we'll check the portal. PC security. Okay, no exclusions. I'll see if it detects the script. ID protection, utilities, etc. So now we're going to jump over to the console. Okay, so we've got Sophos. Obviously, let's look at Sophos first. So this is the dashboard. Gives you a nice quick little overview. Alerts, threat analyzer, and then etc. So we're going to go to devices. So this is our one device. Okay, so it shows that we have these modules installed. So you can have a quick look at the versions, but that's fine. So we've got tamper protection. So I did enable tamper protection for Sophos. And then obviously Sophos uses Windows Firewall. So we're going to go to our endpoint protection. Okay, so we're going to look at our policy. Okay, so there are policies that are enforced by default, so the basics one. So I do hope that it does take priority on custom policies first. So this is the malware policy. We're going to look at settings quickly. Live protection is enabled, deep learning, real-time scan, as you guys can pretty much see. That's about it. Terminate processes. So, and these are the new functions. So site load injection for insecure modules. So we've got that. So a couple of new features. No scheduled scans, and yeah, that's it. So that's that for the settings. And then here you've got your DLP and a whole bunch of other settings that you can change. So yeah, so that's Sophos in a nutshell. And if you use other Sophos products like the firewall, server protection, you find that on the left. Now we're going to hop over to Webroot. So this is the main dashboard. So in here we can manage our site. So endpoint protection, so we'll move there now, but entities. So we've got a malware group, malware test policy is applied to it. So we're going to jump over to the policy. So I just made a policy for local sites. So I'm treat this as a local site. Okay, so these are the basic settings here. You can always just slow down and pause the video if you want to look at them more in detail, but I'm just going to quickly show you guys the settings that we do have. Okay, so scan settings. Okay, so here under self protection, there's no tamper protection that I could see. So it's on self protection level is just set to maximum. So local heuristics. Okay, real-time shield. behavior shield, core shield, web shield, then we've got identity shield, our firewall, DNS protection, so we're not going to test the DNS, evasion shield, detect and remediate, and yeah, so that's pretty much the settings. You can also go to your site list, endpoint protection, and go to the endpoint console. It looks a bit older, I would say. I'll show you guys now once the page has loaded. Okay, so as you can see, it does look a little bit older. So here's the policies as well. Group management, reports, overrides, settings, logs and resources, and yeah, so that's about it. Let's get the protection disabled to get the malware extracted. Okay, so now that all the samples are extracted, we are looking at an amount of 3,255. So these are the same malware, and obviously with a couple of new ones that we tested with Kaspersky and Trend Micro Checkpoint endpoint security in the previous video. So yeah, we've got this time we've got quite a lot of applications files versus Office documents, founders malware, and zip files. Okay, so I just logged in with the admin mode just to make sure that everything was disabled. Just going to quickly update it. Obviously we know with Webroot there's not any real updates. Yeah, I think while Sophos is updating, I think I'm going to enable the protection for Webroot. Okay, I'm going to promote it. I'm going to hop over to Sophos. I'm not sure if I showed this to you guys, but under advanced settings we have turned on anti-ransomware protection and all exploit mitigations, scan trusted file installers, use recommended, deep learning is on default, blah blah blah. So I think that's all our protection. Your policy keys, protection recommend, save. Okay, policy saved, and as they say here, policy at the top overrides the policy at the bottom, so test policy should override basic threat protection policy. Okay, that's Webroot. Gonna come back. I'm gonna say refresh configuration. Okay, seems like Sophos is up to date. As you guys can see, deep learning is on, files for real-time scanning is on. I'm not sure why runtime detection for this is disabled. Sorry guys, let's figure this out. Application control, web control, update management, Windows file. Terminate process. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out why it would say that that is disabled. Detect, prevent malicious attacks. Turn on anti-ransomware. You can turn off anti-ransomware protection and all mitigations. You have to stop loading code, for example, troubleshoot. Turn on event log. This is how device isolation. Guys, is it just me or am I missing something here? That's very odd. So it's just variable control, application control. Yeah, variable control, application control, data loss. So it's a runtime protection. Okay guys, let me just see if I can quickly figure this out and then we'll start the test. Okay, so if there is a Sophos expert one day watching this video, please let me know. So even in admin mode, I can't seem to switch it on or off. As you guys can see, I can switch off malicious. So if I switch it off again, it switches it on. So I can definitely make changes. So if it's like that, you can't switch it on unless you untick it and then boop, it jumps back again. So I can't enable it. I think you maybe can't disable it, because if you look at runtime detection, it is this section here. So runtime detection, protect documents and files from ransomware, cryptograph. It is enabled to protect remotely around ransomware. So you can see when I test it off, switch it off, it does go red. So it's to terminate process, protect master boot record. So the runtime protection modules here are definitely enabled. And the machine is definitely getting the new policy. So I'm just going to continue with the test. I just wanted to point this out to you guys in case someone does see in the video like, hey, you disabled ransomware protection. No, I didn't. So safe browsing, you can't switch off. So you guys can see if I can switch these stuff off, and if I untick it, bloop, it jumps back again. So I'm going to assume ransomware protection is on. So I'm not going to spend more time on this. Admin sign out status, we are protected. And as you guys can see, runtime protection, everything here is enabled. I'm going to save the policy again. Policy saved. Okay, cool. So Webroot is good to go. Our entity is protected. Hopefully it's not a spirit entity. Policy is updated. Okay, so shields. Okay, so I think we can start the first test. So this is the website test. So let's quickly get this bad boy going. Okay, so guys, I just had to pause the video there for a quick bit. I forgot that the Webroot plugin wasn't enabled, so I just had to quickly enable it. Okay, so there's a blog page from Sophos. Another one. Okay, so let's quickly go through the list to see what was missed. So a couple of sites might obviously be down. They do get taken down fairly quickly. Okay, so it seems like we only have one miss. Yeah, one miss for Sophos. Let's quickly have a quick squiz at Webroot. Okay, so let's quickly have a quick squiz here on Webroot. Seems like we have got a couple of blog pages here. Malicious site. One miss. Okay, so I would say it's a draw. So they both missed this one site. Yeah. So that's nice. So that's a draw. So it's off to a good start. Now. Okay, so we are still predicted. Okay, so now this is the main event, the main cuisine. Okay, so let's see who's gonna do what. Okay, Sophos has finally give us some pop-up, because I was wondering like, hey, did I enable notifications? Okay, so Webroot. Okay, so as you guys know, Webroot gives all these gazillion pop-ups. So I'm going to do some of the threat removal, let it pile up a bit, because otherwise it does scans like this, and then you have to like stop it, blah, blah, blah. Becomes annoying. Okay, and again, like with the Kaspersky test, I didn't show you guys that the VMs are clean before I started. Yeah, so that one Sophos setting is really confusing. Oh well, I think we might be in trouble. Guys, I think we might be in trouble. This is very odd for vendors like these to have that amount of malware so early in the processes. Damn. What is going on? These are the same samples that I obviously tested with Kaspersky, and you guys saw what happened to Kaspersky. So I think these later samples are really nasty. Let this bad boy pile up. Okay, cool. So we've got one for Webroot. Let's see if I run this, if it disappears. Yay. Nope, doesn't seem like it disappears. Guys, I get a feeling that this test is gonna go sideways. And I'm not jinxing it. No, I'm not. Literally not. You do get obviously a couple of access denied, so that's good. What's happening to Webroot? Damn, stuff is opening up much quicker than I can actually close it. Malicious file. Damn. I can't keep up. Okay, so Webroot only seems to have this one malware. Sophos seems to be inviting them for a party. Outbreak detected. Administrator notified. Yes, that's me. I know there's an outbreak. I can see it. Exploit prevented. Malicious behavior prevented. Okay, guys, I think this test... No, I'm not going to say anything. I think I'm going to jinx it. I am going to jinx it, so I'm not going to say anything further. So I'm just going to tend to this, guys. You know by now, if there's something weird or funky, I'll point it out. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy my time clicking on all these pop-ups and trying to keep up with everything that opens up. And then I'll let you guys know once the test is done. Hey guys, I'm just reporting back in that the Sophos VM is getting extremely slow. There are points where it tends to get some life again, and all the CMD commands, there's definitely something weird with the machine. It says error mixed, vex says get it fixed. Even my script has it, so there's definitely been some tampering with the machine. But yeah, so it is getting a bit slow, so I'm just reporting that in. If something does happen, the Webroot machine did reboot on its own. I think you guys would have seen it in the sped up video. So Webroot did reboot randomly. So obviously I'm just re-executing malware again. But yeah, so Sophos is definitely coming to a crawl. As you guys can see, it takes very long to respond. So yeah, so let's hope it's not something serious. Okay, howdy guys. So now the test is done, or kind of done. Sophos is doing its own thing, so you guys can see it's like kind of not responding. I think it's still running the malware because I do random see that there's things happening regarding the test, but I think I'm just gonna stop the test for Sophos. As you guys can see, it's not really looking that well. And then surprise, surprise, Webroot actually made it to the end of the test. I absolutely cannot believe it. So if it wasn't Malwarebytes that improved, it seems like Webroot also improved. So that's really good to see. But yeah, the machine is not in a good condition, but always failing and ransomware infections in the beginning. So making it in the end and just bad infected, I see that as an improvement. So well done, Webroot. Whatever you guys did since the last time I tested it, it seems like it's working. Now we got Webroot here. Sophos is completely unresponsive. The last time I checked, I want to see if we can use Task Manager quickly. It seems like this is working. Yeah, as you guys can see, we have a bunch of startup programs. This is really bad. Obviously seen worse, but this is on top of the list. Don't know what that is. That looks interesting. Oh, nice VB script. So persistentness, fileless malware, net support can obviously be used for remote access. On the batch file kill, that's not very nice. Yeah, okay, cool. So badly infected by the looks of it. No wonder why it is actually so slow. I know in Process Explorer there was a bunch of stuff. Hey, actually looks like my shortcuts are actually working, so it's not that bad responsive. It might just be Explorer that's a bit wonky. I just want to see if I can get Process Explorer open, because the last time I checked there was quite a number of stuff running in processes. So hopefully we can open up Process Explorer like so. Okay, while we wait and hold our thumbs for it to open, let's have a quick look at Webroot. So it's still complaining to active threats. We'll obviously do the scans. I'm just going to do it like randomly now. Programs, we obviously have Free Spacer that's installed. Roblox installed, and then the setup installed. I think that's the same setup that was on Kaspersky, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, cool. So Process Explorer open, so that's good. I want to see if I can use Explorer to open up Control Panel. Yeah, so just bear with me, guys. This might be a bit of a slow process. Submit. Okay. Let's see if we can use. Okay, seems like that worked. Okay, so let's see what's installed. Okay, so we've got this Atom SDK installer, then obviously our famous flies on desktop, FNN cover. I think that's the same one we had on Kaspersky, Evasi, and then we've got this error mix. So there's definitely some tampering with Explorer. Evasi, we've got SQL Server, then the same setup, and then Wondershare. So not that many programs that are installed. Okay, so we've got this printer, so we know there are those malwares that try to get the machine infected with print spoolers and all that stuff. Now let's have a quick squeeze. Oh, Process Explorer is closed. Yeah, Sophos machine is really laggy. Luckily for the SSDs, if it weren't for the SSDs, I can't even imagine how slow these machines would actually be. Okay, Okay, so okay, there's evasive. Okay, so here's a couple of issues here. So there's the net support client. Let's have a look at that one. I'm just going to look at the low scores because they should be fairly new malware. Then we've got quite a bunch here. There's an 11. So let's have a quick look at that bad boy. Then, wow, okay, cool. Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff. Damn, if this was my physical machine, I would really start crying. This is bad. While we wait for Sophos to respond, let's have a quick look at Webroot. Okay, so we've got 1 year. Also net support. Seems like it's slipping through a bit, or might be legitimate, but then it gets flagged as malware because it gets used for malicious purposes. So that's also a possibility. I'm not saying that's how it is. And wow, okay, cool. There's the one thing I have to mention is why it kind of looks so clean is Webroot did reboot 3 times during the test, and kind of at the end, like very close to the end, it rebooted. So obviously it would have flushed a lot of malware. And then I've got a special for you guys. Well, not really special, that's special, but as I was doing the test, I thought I was going to throw in a third contender because Sophos was so slow. I was just kind of attending to Webroot, and I was like, let's throw in another machine. So the other machine that I threw in here is none other than Exitium. So I've got absolutely no idea what the results is for Exitium. Only at the end I kind of made a boo-boo with one of my rules. Because there was an issue with the script where it was like getting stuck and I was getting annoyed. So I created a rule to let the script run a little bit more freely, but I made a mistake and I gave it a little bit too much room to run. So I realized my mistake, so I fixed that. So I've got no idea if this machine is actually infected or not. So yeah, so we're going to look at the results together. And then the Exitium machine also rebooted at the end. So it could be malware that's rebooting these machines. So Exitium did reboot, Webroot did reboot, so we'll just keep that in mind. Let's quickly have a look at Process Explorer. Yeah, so it seems like we've got the net client on the Exitium machine as well. And that's that. Let's check what's running in containment. So we've got this one script that's running. Okay, so seems like we've got this startup item. Yeah, so that's the one that's running in containment, I think. But yeah, we've got a startup item here, so it seems like a JavaScript. I didn't actually check for other users. Let's quickly have a look, see if there's any other user accounts. Let's see if anything installed. So on the Exitium machine, we only have Roblox that installed, and that's about it. So nothing else installed. Sorry guys, this VM is a bit slow because of lack of resources. But yeah, so then this is Webroot. So I'm actually quite, like I said, quite surprised by Webroot. So we've got active threads. It does start these scans automatically. So it could be a function that's maybe in it. If it detects malware, it starts scanning. I tried to look for it under the portal. I couldn't find a function like that. So I have to keep on stopping the scans because I don't want it to scan and clean and then it affects our results. So we've got quite a bunch of unknown files. The decontrol the password thing is what I had to use to disable Defender. And yeah, I think that's that. We looked at the startup items. We've got all of this, and yeah, I think that's that. Let's quickly hop over to Sophos again. Seems like only one of the malware that I was clicking on actually opened. So this is a PUA, so that's the net support one. So Icarus says it's a riskware. Netreport, Kaspersky says it's not a virus. Malwarebytes is a riskware, net support. Hack2, riskware, net support. So I think, because as far as I know about net support. So I think it is just a legitimate program being used for nefarious reasons, and it's obviously getting a bad reputation. But yeah, the majority of vendors are actually not rating this as malware. Clearly Exidium is also not. So I think that's why it was allowed to install. So I don't think the net support, but it can obviously be used by a remote group to connect to the machine and then obviously extract information from your machine, transfer files, etc. So it can be used for nefarious reasons, but then hopefully your firewall of the antivirus will stop that malicious traffic. If not, then yeah, you've got a problem. Now I think I'm going to reboot these two machines. Sophos, I'm going to force reboot because obviously, as you guys can see, it's just blue circle wheelie of death. Exidium machine seems to be okay. We don't have any real, we only have the one startup item. We'll see what it does. And then, oh yeah, I didn't actually show the files and folders. So I don't think we've got any ransomware infection. Nope. Okay, cool. So all our programs seems good to go. Not any roadblocks installed, no startup, or one startup item, no additional users. So yeah, let me get these three machines rebooted and then we'll start the full scans. Okay guys, so all those full scans are done. Our special guest took its sweet time to do its scans and it's still not done, so I'm just going to stop the scans for Exidium.
How dare you!
Let's have a look at Sophos. So this is the stuff that comes up every time it boots up. Okay, now on Sophos, let's have a quick see. You guys will notice that Webroot keeps rebooting itself and then it keeps looping in the scans. So it finds threats, removes them, scans again. There's one, I think maybe two specific threats when it wants to remove it. It can't. It then fails and then gives us a error message that we need to contact support. So under Sophos, so we did do a scan just to show you guys on the Sophos. We're gonna go to computers. I'm gonna use this one. Okay, so under events, you guys will see user initiated scan completed. So I did run scans, so they did complete. On the Webroot, obviously here it's still not looking good. It says it's protected, but yeah, it's definitely infected. Well, you guys will see now. Hopefully we can show it, but it did show it, but then it just Webroot reboots and it closes the results and you have to start again. Now on our mystery guest, this is just taking way too long, an hour just to scan the malware folder. This is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to stop it. The full scan was taking too long, so I stopped that. So then I initially started a scan on the user profile, and yeah, I'm going to stop that. So we got past the temp location. So it found those 4 threats. So this malware for Webroot, sorry guys, I'm jumping back this side, the JB Brower or Brayer, whatever. That's the malware where it's got issues removing. Okay, so let's remove the malware on the desktop. Obviously it didn't finish the scan, but yeah, we literally can't wait any longer. And then we've got this error message. So that startup item JavaScript was rated as malicious and then was removed. So I don't think it is valid anymore. But while we're here, let's quickly just check what do we still have on the Exidium machine. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at Webroot. Startup items. We obviously have this setup here. It's still active. This program, net support, MS build. So yeah, we do have quite a couple of startup items. Only one user account. On the Sophos machine, we only have one user account. Startup items, yeah, I think this one has got the most startup items. Yeah, so it's not looking so great for Sophos. I'm going to close this one. Let's quickly have a quick squiz at anything that's running. Okay, so MS Client is actively running, and that's that. On Sophos, we've got the Evasi, then we've got the MS Client, and then yeah, an Evasi. Okay, so we still have a couple of programs that are installed. Okay, Webroot, Roblox, and setup, so not that many programs installed. Close this. So this is the VPN. Okay, let's have a look at our files. So yeah, so this is the one script that runs. This is the same one that's running on the Webroot machine, where it wants to kill tasks for Chrome and things like that, and it launches Edge. Okay, so our documents seems to be good. We have this one file called documents. Documents for Webroot's fine. Pictures for Webroot seems good. Pictures for Sophos seems good. So luckily no ransomware infection. So, and then just also keep in mind Sophos didn't really finish the test. So I had to cut the test short, but it did execute the vast majority of the malware. We're going to hop over to our mystery guest that's hogging up all the time. Okay, so yeah, so just also MS Client. And only Roblox installed, and that's that. Users, only one user. Startup. It seems like our startup item is now gone, the one that we had before the scan. So we obviously have this. This was obviously left behind. Then we've got net support. So I would say net support is the only startup item that we have. Let's look at our files. Okay, documents are good. No additional files. Pictures are good, and we are intact. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is this malware that I was talking about, and then it removes it. It comes back. It will say it can't remove it. You need to contact support. So yeah, so Webroot is really having a hard time to remove the threads. But yeah, let's quickly reboot these 3 VMs, and then we can finish up this test. Okay, guys, so it's time to wrap this test up, and I'll keep it as short as possible here at the end. Now we have Sophos. So Sophos seems like we only have also that we are Office startup, that client 32, and that's about it. On Webroot, we have definitely one of these malwares, or maybe a couple of them, definitely did infect the other exe files, because you guys will notice that the shortcuts for the Komodo, the Soft, and the other ones, they do look weird. So I think they were infected, because we can see it complains about the Komodo folder and then the Soft folder. So definitely some exes were damaged. I'm going to do Exitium last on its own. On Sophos, so we have a couple of issues here according to NPE. So app data roaming, Microsoft startup, so we've got a couple of startup items. That's the stuff there at the back, so we'll look at them. So yeah, quite a number of things. NPE on Webroot, obviously program data, there's a PowerShell script, web browser temp, roaming, the scanners that are infected, app data. And yeah, so we do definitely have a couple of issues on these machines. ESET, quick scan found no issues. I couldn't run eScan on Webroot, it's just not opening, so I think it's broken. Same for Soft. MSIsoft on Sophos got 66 issues. So it's a little bit slow. Okay, so it's obviously complaining about the Evasi, so that fake VPN. Couple of files for Evasi. Seems like it's the majority is Evasi. Go down. Then we've got that PowerShell script under program data, under my user profile, app data local. Couple of issues. There's roaming. Okay, a couple of Java files. And Windows installers, so under installer folder. Malware bytes for them both, 7 issues and 48. So we've got app data local. And then we've got one registry key, that's that Office startup. I think, yeah, that's that same client exe. So there's the process module, but there's the registry key for it. On Webroot, so program data, that Remcast, we've seen that one before. App data local, Microsoft Vision, Skype. Let me just sort it by category. Okay, so a couple of exes, app data. So here we've got a couple of scheduled tasks, quite a number of them. And then we've got a bunch of registry keys. And yeah, so we've got quite a lot happening. Okay, so these are the things that pop up as soon as you log into your account. Same with Sophos. Okay, so let's quickly have a quick squiz at Process Explorer. Okay, so as you guys can see, Facebook opens up a couple of times, I think. Okay, let's have a quick look at Sophos. Okay, so there's that client 32, and that's that. On Webroot, just quickly gonna go through it. There's the client, and yeah, that's as well. So seems like it's only persistent malware via startup schedules and things like that. No active threads running. Let's quickly have a look at our files. Okay, so document seems good. We have an additional folder that says My Games. Sophos has a file that's called Documents. Pictures seems good. Yeah, picture seems good. So luckily no encryption. Let's quickly look at the file or programs that are still installed. Okay, on Sophos we still have that SDK killer, Flat Desktop, the cover ones, this boost frames per second Fortnite, setup and Wondershare. Here we've got Adobe ActiveX, Free Spacer, and Roblox setup and Wondershare. Okay, let's have a look at our startup items. Well, let's first look at our users. Still only the same user accounts, no additional accounts. You've still got, seems like they're active. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 active, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so more startup items for Sophos. Then Webroot. Let's jump over to our mystery guest. Okay, so Hitman Pro has one issue, that's that client exe, but it's in the MS Cloud Sync, not in the Office folder as it is with Sophos. That's odd. NPE, just looks like doesn't like Xitium. Just never works. I don't know why. I even disabled all the protection. ESAT quick scan found no problems. MSiteSoft found 7 issues. App data local, so there's activation.bat, so that's local temp. Here we've got one in app data roaming. There's that client 32, so an INI file for that one. POP, okay, it always labels that one. Then we've got in public. Come on. So we've got in public a PowerShell script, and then we've got this registry key that is for a debugger. So that's a hijacker apparently. Okay, cool. So it seems like we might have a couple of issues. Let's go to Malwarebytes. Only 4 issues. Also just registry keys. So it's that same debugger. Current version, image file, something. Debugger again, exe for that. And yeah, okay, cool. So we've got about 4 issues there according to Malwarebytes. Close that one. Okay, Process Explorer. Okay, that unknown is the EDR agent. And yeah, so it's only the client that's running. Let's look at what's installed. Okay, it's only Roblox that installed, that's about it. Oh, that was a typo. Okay, let's quickly check users. No other user accounts, startup items. Only 1, 2, but obviously that one on its own won't really do anything. So that other JavaScript file is missing now, most probably labeled as malware. And yeah, so 1, maybe 2 startup items. Let's see about our files. Okay, docs are good, no additional files and folders. Pics are good, and yeah, I would say that's that. Okay, cool guys. So let's quickly wrap it up. I was actually gonna think Sophos was gonna do much worse, as it was like super not responding. So considering how it behaved, it actually was less infected than what I thought. But obviously, website test was good, but the malware test, that's where we can see the programs or the AV programs or the engines that they use might start to show cracks. So it didn't do so well in the malware test. We obviously have a lot of startup items, so machines are definitely infected. There's no way that I'll trust this machine. So we do obviously have startup items, malware outside our normal locations, and programs that are installed. Webroot did much better than what it normally does. Normally, like halfway through, the test is gone, it's over, it's ransomware infected, blah, blah, blah. So this is the first time it actually survived the test, and also alongside that, no ransomware infection. So good job, Webroot. Definitely doing much better than normal. But yeah, obviously the machine is badly infected. We've got a bunch of startup items. It's battling to remove some of the threats. And yeah, so not great results from Webroot either, but definitely an improvement from the last time. And then our mystery guest, Xitium. I obviously didn't do the website test, I just did the malware test. But between these 3, I would say Xitium would have came third between the website test, to be honest. With malware, obviously Xitium did really, really well. We have 1 or 2 maybe startup items, but I don't think that for all 3 these VMs, I don't really think we can use that client or that net extender as a threat, because it's a legitimate program, just obviously being used for nefarious reasons, and it gets a bad rep. So I don't really think that's a startup item to worry about for all 3 of them. It's more the other startup items, but for Xitium, we don't really have any other startup items. The other modules just used to launch scripts, so it's not a malware itself. So I would say technically there's no malware startups. No infection, no funny business, no other programs installed, obviously just Roblox, but that seems to be the legitimate Roblox. And yeah, so I would say great results from Exitium, and obviously it's the winner between these three. Let me know if you guys want me to do more like special guests type of thing, quote unquote special guest, like to do 2 VMs and on random times just throw in a third vendor just for the fun. Just let me know if you guys like that. But I just figured I'll just do it for this test. But if you guys want me to do more quote unquote special guests, I can do that. I can make a plan. I'll throw in a third vendor just for the fun of it. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the test. I think I'm coming to the end of business tests. I think I might make another business test. Depends on if I can get the trials that I want. If not, then I think this might be the last business test, and I'll jump back to the home products. And yeah, so that was a quite interesting test. Took quite some time to do. Webroot rebooted a couple of times. Sophos came to a crawl, but yeah, the only issue that I had with Exitium was with the script, and then I made a boo-boo with one of my rules. So maybe that's why we have more things on the Exitium machine than expected, is because I made a mistake. But even if I did, the program still needs to perform. And yeah, Exitium did really, really well, even when I made a mistake. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think. And yeah, thanks again guys for watching. I'll get to the new tests, and yeah, until the next test comes uploaded, I'll see you guys again. And thanks again for watching.